Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Friday. Today, the temperature here in Cedar Rapids is sitting at a balmy -13 with a feels like of -27 degrees. So, as you can see, I have my teased project in front of me right now, and a few other things just because it's been a crazy week. But that being said, today we are going to go through a setup of a new home NAS. Now, if you don't know what a NAS is, stay tuned because this is a good thing to know if you need bulk storage for your own files at home. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what NAS means Network Attached Storage. And all it is an abbreviation. So, essentially what this does is it gives you an accessible file storage on your home network. Now, the beautiful thing about most NAS setups is that even though it's on your home network, it's still accessible outside of your home network. So, the purpose of this NAS is essentially to take all of my files off of my existing NAS, which lives in that cupboard back there under the steps and up on a shelf. Some of you have seen it in my videos, some of you haven't. It's literally the exact same box. But what we're going to be doing is taking four 14 terabyte Seagate Iron Wolf drives. We're going to be putting them in here, and then we're going to be offloading all of my YouTube/work content for my business onto this NAS, as opposed to keeping it on the home NAS where we tend to store like our movies, our photos, things like that. So we're gonna go into a little bit more detail about how this is done and kind of get started on the process. I wanted to show you one quick thing and interrupt this whole NAS setup process because, well, I want to show you that it doesn't have to be as complicated as this, and you don't have to go out and buy a really expensive network attached storage box like this, because these can get pretty pricey. So let me show you a more basic way really quick that you can do this. Let's say that you have an old Dynex, drive enclosure that you choose to put a new 2 terabyte hard drive in, and you just want this to work for what you're doing. Well, say hi to Mr. Router. Most of your routers today actually have a USB port on the back of them. And this is going to be a little hard to show you because, there we go. See that USB port right there? That USB port is Netgear's answer. And most of your other router manufacturers answer to network attached storage. Now, most of them call that feature Ready Share or something along those lines, but it's the same exact concept as NAS storage, plugging a hard drive into your network or your router to make your files accessible. You might not be able to do all the things that you can with a NAS box like what I'm about to show you for setup, but it still works really well. And it's actually how I started with that dusty old drive I just showed you. As usual, today's video not sponsored by anyone. This is all my own hard-earned money that I'm spending here to show you guys how to set this stuff up. So, if you'd like to drop me a donation, link is in the description down below. But I am typically vocally against Seagate drives. However, the research shows that Seagate actually has excellent quality NAS drives, and they were on sale. So each 14 terabyte drive that you're about to see ran me roughly $250. And then there was like a 10% off promotion. So this is a 14 terabyte Seagate Iron Wolf Pro drive. And essentially what this is going to do is allow me to have 28 terabytes of storage across 4 drives. Now, you might be thinking, well, you've got 4 drives. Why isn't it 4 times that amount? Well, the reason it's not 4 times that amount is because I decided not to do it that way. I like to have my drive set up in a RAID configuration, RAID basically just means that the drives will not have to, we don't have to worry about, you know, if two of them fail, there's two backup drives at all times. And that's the beautiful thing about a RAID configuration, at least the way I'm planning on doing my setup here. So, and I think for my business, it's especially important to make sure that I've got an adequate configuration for it, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, trying to remember which direction this is supposed to go in. My last NAS I set up, I was just so excited to have it. I set it up in one day and I did not record the process because, well, I wasn't really doing a lot of YouTube back then. So what we're doing right now is just taking the NAS, or we're taking the first 14 terabyte Iron Wolf drive and we're sticking it into one of the cradles. Now it's a very simple process. These cradles, well, as long as you can get the hole lined up, it's a simple process. These cradles are just plastic. They're nothing fancy. You don't have to worry about clicking anything into place or screwing anything into place. It's all toolless. And then, there we go. Maybe? I'm speaking out of turn a little bit here. Not because it's not toolless, but because I make it look a little harder than it has to be, and I think I don't do that on purpose, but it certainly happens. So I think your drives go this way, if I'm not mistaken, and facing, so the label faces towards the power button over here, and then you just slide the drive in and it locks into position. So we're gonna unbox the other 3 drives that I have here, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what is really going to go into this configuration. Okay, so now that we have our 4 14 terabyte drives plugged into this NAS, the next step here is realistically just going to be hooking this up and networking it in. I am going to go about doing this a little bit of a different way, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to actually make sure that it works before I put it into position, because I do have to create a new Ethernet cable for it. That way I can plug it into the switch and just set it on top of my existing NAS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hook up my network cable that I have under the desk here that I use for, you know, troubleshooting and diagnostics, and then we'll get it set up and we'll kind of walk through that web interface, what that looks like, and initiate the drives and set it up on the network. Okay, we've got it plugged in, we've got it hooked up to the network, which is this cable right here. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. There are some status indicators over here. They'll give us a little bit of a hint as to what's going on. We'll kind of move you guys around there to see what's happening. Looks like we've got some drives starting to spin up in there, which is great. Okay, so that beep there is showing us that we're finally fully booted up. And you can see that our status indicator there is blinking. And we've got, we're going to start waiting for these disk indicators to start showing up here to see what's going to happen. All right, you're going to start out by going to finds.synology.com. And once you're there, you'll just do a quick scan. And for us, our scan already turned up our new disk station. The status says not installed. That's how we can tell it's not our current one, and the IP address of our current one is something completely different. So what we're going to do is we're going to say connect, and we're going to say that we've read and agreed to the terms, even though we haven't. If you guys want to go through terms and stuff, be my guest. But all right, so it says set up your Synology DS418 now, and so that's the beautiful thing about it, is it's literally sitting right here, and it's already just discovered. So we'll install it. Let's see, automatically download and install the latest DSM from the Synology website. We'll say sure. I don't care. I understand all data on these drives will be deleted. That's okay. There's nothing on those new drives anyway. To continue, please type your product model in the field below, and it's DS418, and we'll say delete. And now I can hear audibly that the drive next that the drives in this next to me are being formatted. Um, It does make a little bit of a strange sound. Seagate versus Western Digital, they're just very different. My other Synology NAS has WD Red drives in it, and each of them I think is 6 terabytes. So less than half the size of this, and in total I think I have 10 terabytes of storage space across those 4 drives. So I set that one up as a RAID config too. I might not do that. I might switch the way things are stored. I don't really know, but we'll see. So you can see this is progressing well here. We're at 56%. It doesn't take a ton of time. We're probably going to fast forward this part. Because the last DS418 I bought was so reliable, I decided that I wanted this one. And I paid a fraction of what I paid for my last one for this one. My last one, I think I paid about $400. This one I paid almost $100 on eBay. Maybe a little more than $100. But either way, it was nowhere near $400. These things can be expensive. These 4-bay NASs definitely don't come cheap. But highly recommend them if you're looking for a network, a solution for storing your files in a safe location. So we're going to go ahead and start here. It says next generation data management begins here. So we'll say start. And for this one, I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it, we're going to call it BG Tech Repair. Okay. We'll just call it BGTR Storage. Administrator account. Well, let's see. I don't know why it's beeping, but sounds like a heartbeat. Allow this disk station to be displayed in Web Assistant. Synology will collect the IP address and port information. Okay, that's fine. We can say next. It might be just beeping because we're in setup mode currently. I don't really know. All I know is it is still working. So automatically and install important DSM packages and updates only. Recommended. Yeah, we'll do the recommended. Create a Synology account to receive more benefits. I already have one, but that's fine. Well, I thought I did anyway. Set a Quick Connect ID. A Quick Connect is a free service that lets you access your disk station from a secure custom address and access media or files from any device with an internet connection. We'll set that later. Around the clock monitoring and protection. I don't need that. I also don't need that. Yes, enable notification to receive. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, it actually looks like we're in now. No thanks. All right. Now here we go. We're going to create a storage pool and volumes. So we'll say start. We want to do RAID 1, which means that we have to have at least 2 drives. We've got 4. Storage pool description. We'll say BGTR storage. Not sure where that comes from. I set this up in the most optimized way. Typically, I'll do, let's see, I've got 14 terabyte. RAID 0. That'll be 56. RAID 5. Okay. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. RAID 6 is the config I think I want. Well, that's how we'll set it up then. Okay. Yep, that's what we'll do. Okay, so we're going to go back into our Synology Disk Station Manager. And we're going to select a different RAID configuration. We'll say RAID 6. Next. That gets us 25.4 terabytes. That's better. Next. Apparently my Iron Wolf drives are not technically on the compatibility list. I don't care. Say next. Valid range of the volume capacity. Just say max. Okay. And we'll say apply. All right. It is running. I still don't understand the heart monitor sound that this thing is making, but we'll figure that out. Control panel. Hardware and power. Beep control. Mute. Oh, that worked. That's good. And technically, my storage pool should be available now if I go out to my network storage and I click on network. We should have another thing pop up here. Yep, there it is, BGTR storage. And if I want to access it, it should just be that username and password that I created. And there it is. It's empty, completely empty, ready for me to migrate my files and everything over to. So that's really great news. For some reason, my disk status lights aren't showing or anything. Currently, my other DS418 shows it, and I think it might be because of whatever fan error is going on with it. So my storage pool is showing is healthy. That's good. The fan of your disk station has failed. Yeah, so I'll have to figure out what's going on there and which fan it actually is. But both of these fans in the back are running and keeping everything pretty cool. So I'm not sure which fan it's talking about. We'll figure that out though. Let's see here. Take a quick tour. No, that's okay. Internal fan 1, stop. Okay. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to do here while showing you guys this whole process is I wanted to show you how to access the storage pool outside of your home network, because that's another factor that's pretty important. So you go into your control panel, and I think it's under File Services and Advance. No. You got that. That's fine. Where is it? External access. There it is. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to enable Quick Connect. And for our Quick Connect ID, we'll expand the advanced settings. Say apply. VGTR storage. Save. And then you have to go into your DDNS, and you actually have to add a provider. And for your provider, you'll just select Synology, and then it'll pretty much do everything for you. So for this, we'll select bgtr.synology.me. And then basically, anytime you want to access anything from outside of your home network, you can do that using that Synology service. So, and again, it's just going to be whatever your username and your password is to log into it. But you'll go to bgtr.synology.me, and that's all there is to it. And the enable heartbeat function is really nice, because when your server is no longer available outside of your home network, it will actually send you an email and let you know, hey, this isn't working, and then that's that. So we'll press OK on that. And it'll have to spin. And there we go. So we're all set up. So technically, this system was deployed, and it was like 15-ish minutes. Go to File Station. And then I'll create a folder. A shared folder, sure. We'll call it BG Tech Repair Files. Next. Forget it. I'm just going to do a standard folder instead. So we're going to say I don't know what happened. I think I'm just in the wrong area. Create a folder. And we'll call this BG Tech Repair Files. Okay. Now if we go out here, we should have that there. And then if we do a quick refresh, it says Home and Homes. I don't understand why it says that.
All right, y'all. So I struggled with that, figuring out where the storage goes for a little while, and how to set that up because it had been 5 years since I set up the last one. Technically 6 because it was 2020 when I did my last DS418. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did to create shared folders because I got it after the fact and I didn't put it on video. But, here we go. So in order to create those big folders that you see at the base level when you go to your BGTR storage, for instance, in our case, you have to go to Control Panel in here, and then you have to go to Shared Folder. And then you can see now that I've got this broken down the way that I want it to be. I don't care about homes anymore, but I don't think I can really, I guess I can get rid of homes if I wanted to. I don't care. I'm just leaving it. It's empty anyway. I have my BG Tech Repair storage in here as a, as a shared folder. And then I've got my Brandon the IT Guy storage, which is where all my YouTube standard elements, transitions, and assets are going to go and be stored. So that's how you do it. You come in here, you click create, you do create a shared folder, and then you put your information in. The description pops up in Windows Explorer as a cute little, here, I'll just show you. Pops in as a cute little thing here. So go to BGTR storage. And if you hover over it, it says storage for YouTube standard elements, transitions, and assets. And as you can see, that matches the description that you can put in right here, which is under that create a shared folder option right here. So that's how you actually allocate your storage. That's what I've done so far. And the shared folder size, it's not a limitation. It's just telling you how much is in the folder at the time. You can see that my BG Tech Repair storage is significantly larger because I'm storing a lot more in there, like programs that I need to install off-site, things like that. And then I have like my Windows licenses and things that I've purchased stored in there as well. So that's it. Back to the regular video now.
Here, go to Home, because that's where BG Tech Repair Files is. And we'll take everything from BG Tech Repair Files and we'll move it into there. Now, this is going to be a lot of stuff. Like, there's already 1.2 terabytes of data just alone in my YouTube videos that I make for you guys. So you can see that the 1.73 terabytes, the majority of that is the YouTube videos. Just fair warning. So 8 hours and 30 minutes, that doesn't actually seem that unusual. But we're going to let this do its thing here, and we'll kind of go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this content of me spinning up a Synology NAS server for my, I guess not a NAS server, but a Synology NAS for home use and for business use, smash that like button down below because I love making content like this. I love sharing this stuff with you guys. And honestly, this is information that anybody can use. And these NASs are not just for people like me. They're for the everyday Joe. So go out there, check it out. If you found this content interesting, you can set things up without a RAID configuration if you want to at all. So till next time.